It was a beautiful morning in Los Santos. Freight was just finishing a run when he noticed a brown streak, who Freight could see was on the verge of an existential crisis. "Are you feeling well?" asked Freight. "I can't complain," said Brown Streak, but he said it unconvincingly. Freight wanted to cheer his friend up. Freight wanted to cheer his friend up, and eventually Brown Streak spoke up. "I love my branch line," he said, "but I can't help but wonder what's beyond the blockade that stops us from entering Las Venturas." Freight tended to the little Brown Streak and said that sometimes the best travels are those we can only dream about. But Brown Streak wasn't listening. He was too busy thinking about how he was going to charge through that blockade the moment an opportunity arose. Later that day, Brown Streak was getting ready for his usual run, where he'd deliver cargo, like half a mile down the line because none of the map was unlocked yet. He was just about to start when he felt something fall onto him. He looked back. It was one of the local gang members. Ouch. And another. And another. One of the gang members ran to the front of Brown Streak and kindly asked him to drive as fast as he could. "You think you can do that for me?" he asked politely. "Oh yes," said Brown Streak, while somehow making eye contact. And just then, a motorcycle pulled up alongside Brown Streak, and CJ the driver let out a sigh, as if to say this wasn't the first time he had done this today. Brown Streak raced away like never before, much to the annoyance of the chasers, but they didn't give up. "We've got to get those fools," said the heavier set one. "Follow that train!" And the race was on. Presently, a Glendale was taking a break on the crossing, while his driver was... Oh! Suddenly, everyone began to fire their weapons. Bang, bang! Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat, bang, bang, with bang, the heavier set one not hitting anything whatsoever. One of the gang members slipped and was clinging on desperately to Brown Streak. At last, they had a perfect aim of one of the gang members when... That was Freight, who wasn't going to stop to say hello. Brown Streak was tired. He wasn't used to high-speed chases and bikes shooting at him. He had begun to give up all hope when suddenly, just around the corner, his luck started to change. There was a barrier blocking the other track. "Take the high road on the right," said the heavyset fellow. They managed to dodge the barrier just in time. "Look, the fizzling fire park to CJ, the train!" he yelled, as an oncoming train came from the other side in a hurry. Brown Streak could see Las Venturas. It was far away in the distance, but to Brown Streak it looked closer than ever. The gang members must not have known about the blockade on Frederick Bridge, and when they found out that their path was blocked, they had horror on their faces. But Brown Streak wasn't ready to give up on his dreams. "I'm gonna ice these fools, man," said the heavyset fellow. But it was too late. "You've done it, hooray!" cheered the gang members. Brown Streak's face was a little sore, but as he chuffed his way to a new adventure, he couldn't be any happier. CJ and the heavy-set fellow weren't allowed on the other island and slowed to a halt. But they were still determined. "We'll try again tomorrow," said the heavy-set fellow. "After all you have to do is follow the damn train, CJ." Streak was coming home at last. He'd been spending time gambling in Las Venturas after helping a group of friendly gang members to escape. That night, Brown Streak told Freight all about the other side of San Andreas. "I didn't know there was another side," said Freight, and the two went happily to sleep. Come on, prove it, you lousy lumps of scrap iron on a railroad. The next day, CJ and the heavy-set fellow were headed for Unity Station, and they were more determined than ever. CJ could well remember the last time he had to follow that damn train, and since then, he busied himself doing anything he could, but there was nothing left to do. Brown Streak had barely woken up when a gang member fell onto him and kindly asked him to drive as fast as he could. "You think you can do that for me?" he asked politely. "What is this?" cried Brown Streak. "Is reality as we know it a mere illusion that hinges on the actions of a single protagonist?" But he hadn't time to think, for CJ and the heavy-set fellow had already arrived at the station. Brown Streak raced away like never before. Again. "Aw, dear," said CJ. "Here we go again." CJ and the heavy-set fellow need to eliminate the gang members before they reach Frederick Bridge. Up ahead is a lady standing on the sidewalk, Brown Streak, and further ahead is a trailer with a ramp. Should CJ park near the lady and see if anything develops? No. Although this will put CJ in a better mood for a price, there's not enough room on the bike for the lady and the heavy-set fellow. What about if CJ followed Brown Streak while the heavy-set fellow shoots the gang members? No. They've tried this once before and it doesn't work. What about if CJ got to the ramp before Brown Streak does, boarded the train, and fired at the gang members himself? Yes. Every wise gamer knows that the heavy-set fellow is unreliable. If CJ wants the job done properly, he'll have to do it himself. Although, between you and me, CJ and... Damn it, they missed! Once again, the gang members arrived at Las Venturas. "That was our fault," said the heavy-set fellow. "We spent too long on the learning segment." But the two were still determined. "We'll try again tomorrow," said the heavy-set fellow. "After all you have to do is flash pans!" exclaimed CJ. He was so angry that he punched the air, punched it again, reset the camera, punched the air twice more, accidentally punching a bystander when going for a third, reset the camera, pulled out a weapon, aimed his weapon, got onto his bike, punched the bystander one more time, and got off his bike. A tank fell from the sky and landed on the heavy-set fellow. "I'm as confused as you are," said the tank, and CJ left in a huff. Meanwhile, Freight pulled into the station. He was sad to find that Brown Streak had gone again already. He didn't even get to see Freight's redesign. Freight had always been a content old engine, but ever since Brown Streak broke through that barricade, Freight had been questioning just how big San Andreas really is. And with the player seemingly incapable of completing this chapter, Freight tried to sleep, wondering if he'd ever get to see the world. "You're blocking the road, you son of a bitch! Get out of my way, jerk-ass!" Next morning, Freight's driver rushed to wake him. He was waving a folder containing a high-value courier contract, courtesy of Merriweather. "It's a leak from the game developers," exclaimed Freight's driver. "Maybe it means good news." "I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda." "Ayo, Smoke, was Los Santos always messed up like this?" "Yo, hey, don't ask a wise man, friend. Ask a fool." "That's what I was doing."